Well, hello everybody out there. Welcome to the channel. This is Rob. In this video, I am going to go over a remix, kind of give you a quick walkthrough. But more importantly, the subject really of this video is what to do after you enter a remix contest and you don't win. So you're kind of stuck with this project that you can't really play out. Now, I have some of the more copyrighted material muted here, so I can play this right here. In fact, I could legally use the ideas in this track for another project, and that's the whole point. So let me give you a quick listen to parts of this, and then we'll talk about it. All right, so then it just goes back into the outro. And again, basically what happens with a remix contest is you go through all the trouble of building a track. And I basically got this done in one weekend, which is another point that I want to bring up. And that's why remix contests are so great, because they have deadlines and it makes you finish a track. And I basically, what happened was I decided on the idea earlier, 1 week, decided on basically this part right here, which is the keys, and it comprises a, let's see here, let me just sort this out here. I decided on that part, and then it's got a high pluck layer. This is a Contact 5 Alicia's keys, and then a high pluck out of Spire. And then kind of a trancey kind of super saw sound out of Hive. And I decided that I was going to use that type of a motif for my version of the remix. Obviously, I can't play the lead for you, which I have muted. So I basically came up with the idea, and then I just put it all together over the course of a 3-day weekend that I had, and I learned a lot. And that's the real importance of a remix. Even though I entered this remix contest, and I didn't win. I learned a heck of a lot, okay? And so one of the main things I learned was just obviously practice a little bit on my layering here. But this bass part, I kind of came up with a little trick how to, let me just play this bass part for you here. Okay, so that has a lot of reverb on it, and it has a lot of bouncing around, and the way I did that was kind of a method that I don't think in fact, I know I haven't really used this method before. So what I did here is I have two serums, and the serums are run through Tantra, which is my favorite modulation plugin. So let me turn serum or Tantra off, and in serum it's just kind of a gritty preset. So basically two of them with two tantras that do two different things. Like this tantra here has this preset, sequence Voldwalker, and this tantra has FLT Clapman, all right? So it's two totally different sounds, but on their own, they sound like this. Whoops. Let's just solo this. But then when you add the Tantra plug-in, turn them on here. Then I have a big reverb here. Well, not pretty big, 5.7 at 20%. So it's Tantra handles the kind of the panning back and forth and the delay that you kind of hear. So play it here. So the Tantra has that also. So it just kind of adds kind of an effect, interesting intro bass. So that was kind of one thing that I kind of figured out, some new technique that I developed that I'm going to use in future tracks. Another thing that I did was I found a good sub drop. Doesn't sound very much in isolation, but when you wind down into the breakdown, so it's just kind of back there, and I like that sub drop. I believe this is from, let me see here, if it's still, yeah, Sennheiser Impact. So it doesn't sound good on it, like much on its own, but it really worked well with this track, and I'll just put that in my favorites folder. And then, I may like the way this, down here, these white noises sound. So, nice and wide, kind of review how I did that. Okay, I got sample delay on here, which makes it wide. And then this is Dave Parkinson Trance Essentials White Noise samples from the Dave Parkinson library. And then it's been trimmed down. Then the context. And then, hey, I really like the way these risers sound. Okay, so may review those. I may bounce that whole thing down right there, all three of those into one, use them in a different track, because the public's never going to hear this track because it's copyrighted material, and part of the agreement with the remix is I can't do it. But that's the thing. These are good exercises for all of you out there who are watching this, learning how to produce electronic dance music. And this channel is basically devoted to my journey of learning how to be better and better at producing dance music. This is one thing that I highly recommend you do, is enter these remix contests, and you can go back and say, yeah, I really like this, and hey, I really like that. That worked out really good. I may not have won, but it was a growth experience. And so that's what I always do. And I can look back at some of my tracks that I have produced recently, and a lot of the parts in those tracks are things that I've learned from remixes. And let me kind of feature this real quick, like these vocal chops here. They kind of come in right about here. Let me just unsolo this here. then they kind of come in right here. So. And again, I just love this Tantra for creative modulations, pad phantoms. So I may use that in the future. And this is just basically without the Tantra. Then I got the JJP, Jack Joseph Puig vocal plugin that I really love. So it's just a good thing to do. And so I recommend that you do this on all your tracks, not just remixes. But remixes seems like, I don't know about you, but it seems like I really try to stretch my ability a little bit. So I always seem to come up with something a little bit different on a remix that ends up helping me grow as a producer. So anyways, I hope you liked this, and I hope you liked the remix, although you're probably never going to hear it. And that's all I've got again. And thank you very much for watching. And if you liked this video, hit the thumbs up. And if you want to be notified for the next one, hit subscribe and the little bell. Have a good one.